Alright, everyone, Dangal greetings. My name is Kenneth Ryan C. Oka, and let's go through our Library OS project. I'll start
Yay!
by giving a quick overview. Our system has two main classes, book and transaction, and a bunch of functions that made the UI. Ian, can you walk us through the book class first?
Of course. So, the book class uses private fields. That's the hashtag symbol. That's the hashtag symbol. Look. Very nice, very nice. Which means nobody outside the class can directly touch the data. It just means that it is similar to the private in the Java. We have five private fields: ID, title, author, category, and quantity. The constructor takes all five parameters and parse int is called on quantity to make sure it's always a whole number. That's
That's
all.
right. So that let's go to the getter IDs where these methods get the private fields. This also expose through get ID, get title, get author, get category, and get quantity. These are read-only access point. The outside world can see the data, but they can change it directly.
Exactly. And on the flip side, we have the setter methods. The set title, the set author, the set category, and the set quantity. These are used specifically in the edit book modal. When the user updates a book details and clicks save, the scripts call these setters to update the private fields. Notice that the set quantity also uses parse int just like the constructor, so it stays consistent.
Yay!
Then we have two special methods. First is borrow. Okay, this one checks if the quantity is greater than zero. If it is, it decrements the quantity by one and returns true. Meaning the borrow was successful. If the stock is already zero, it returns false. Okay, so that return value is important because our borrow button handler checks it before creating a transaction. Good point, Harvey. So, what are the second special method? Okay, that special method is what we call is available, and then open and close parentheses. It simply returns true or false based on whether the quantity is greater than zero. This is used in render borrow select, again, open and close parenthesis, to filter out books that have no stock, so the dropdown only shows books the user can actually borrow. Perfect. Now, since the book class is done, now let's proceed to the transaction class, right, Christina?
Yeah, so here I'll show you the transaction class. Transaction class is also showing private fields like the ID, the book ID, the book title, book borrower, the category, and the timestamp. So the timestamp is an automatically set to a new date method the moment the transaction is created. So we never have to pass it manually. It only has getters, which is the get ID, get text ID, get book title, get borrow name, get category, and get timestamp. There is no setter because transactions are permanent record. You shouldn't be able to edit them or also it only deletes them.
Right. And to summary, exists in both classes. It formats the object's data into a readable string. It's not used in the UI directly, but it's useful for debugging or if we ever want to print or export records.
Now all the classes are completed, the models rather. Now let's move on to the UI functions of our website. Shall we, Lovely Kate?
Of course, we have three DOM helpers. Make button that takes a label, a CCS class, and a click handler. It creates a jQuery button element so we don't have to repeat that code everywhere. Make cell wraps any content inside the TD tag for table rows. And make row creates a TR with the class row new. These three are used together every time we build a table row. Then, for budge, make quantity budge creates a colored pill showing the stock count, green for good stock, yellow for low, and red for zero. The uses quantity status naman to decide which CCS class to apply. And make category badge to wraps the category name in style ED, which is the span.
Then there's our function show empty, a small utility that displays no book found or no transaction yet message, spanning all 6 columns when a table has nothing to show. It prevents the table from just looking blank.
The two main render functions are render catalog and render transactions. Render catalog reads the current search, input, and the two filter drop-downs, category and stack, then loops through the books array and builds a table row for each match. It also calls update stats at the end to keep the header counts accurate.
To render transaction does the same thing for the transaction table. It filters the search input and then renders rows in reverse order using that slice and that reverse, so the most recent transaction always appear on top. Each row has delete button that can calls open confirm before actually deleting it.
And now, me, the render barrow select is called every time the book array changes. After adding, editing, and deleting or borrowing, it reveals the drop down with only books where is available. Returns true. This keeps the drop down in sync with actual stock at all times.
Now for the CRUD functions, delete book filters the book array to remove the matching ID. Then we renders the catalog and the barrel dropdown. Delete transaction does the same for the transactions array. Open edit looks up the book by ID using find book, then prefills the edit model with the current values before opening it.
And the confirm dialog function open confirm. It is a reusable function that accepts a title, a message, and a callback. When the user clicks the delete button anywhere in the app, it stores the callback in our confirm callback function. If the user clicks yes, it executes the callback. If they click cancel, it just closes the overlay. That means we have one dialog handling all delete confirmations in the whole application.
Finally, the live search and filter listeners. The search input, filter cut, and filter quantity that on input change render catalog. This triggers render catalog every time the user types or change a filter. So the table updates in real time without any button pressed.
Wow, great job everyone! To summarize, the book class manages the data encapsulation through private fields and controlled access through getters and setters. The transaction class is immutable by design since borrowing records shouldn't change. And the UI layer uses small focus functions, each one doing one exactly one job. So the code stays readable and easy to maintain. So that wraps up for our group presentation and our group project for our laboratory examination this midterm semester. Thank you again for listening. And once again, I'm Kenneth Ryan Sioka, as well as my members, Cristina Villarosa, Harvey Season, lovely Kate Gollis, and lastly, the legendary programmer of all time, Ian Israel Manalo,
And
Index
the
of.
leader, the
And
godfather of them all, Kenneth Ryan Oka.
what? So once again, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great time watching our presentation. Goodbye, and all good things. Bye bye. Thank you.
Goodbye!